Today's guest we have California Baptist Lancers women's basketball Div 1 starting guard, Lesila Finau. How are you doing today, Sila?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule and jumping on. I'm really excited to have a chat a little bit about your life and about your basketball journey, and hopefully the listeners get to know you better today. So let's get straight to it. So for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, your formative years as a kid, and how you got into the game of basketball.
Okay, so I'm Lesila Finau, as you introduced. I was born and raised in California. I say I'm from the Bay Area just because I moved around a lot as a kid, so I just say the Bay Area to be
Mm,
more general rather than specific. I started playing basketball seriously in the sixth grade, but in elementary school, like
mm,
before sixth grade, I would just shoot because my brother like would always play during recess with his friends, and excuse me, me and him are in the same grade, so
mm,
like I wanted to do everything he did, and so that was just what interested me at the time, and then that's pretty much my interest in basketball started, and then once I hit middle school, that's when I had moved again, and then I started playing club basketball, just AAU. So just I don't really know what AAU stands for, but just league, another league, I guess, for like
yeah.
kids for them to actually get to start playing. And then I also played CYO, which was a religious affiliation with basketball. So I've had tons of practice since then, and then obviously once I got to high school, I realized that I could be good, so I
Mm,
started training more seriously, and then I ended up at Colorado.
So who would you say influenced you the most to play the game? Would you say your brother influenced you to
Yeah,
play?
my brother for sure.
And did you grow up playing any other sports other than basketball?
I did not. I actually was not interested in any,
Mm,
but in my last year of middle school, my mom made me run track
mm,
actually, and I did not like it. I did not want to do it, but
mm,
I ended up placing in the 400-meter
mm,
race.
mhm,
Um, so I thought I guess I did pretty well, but it's not what interested me.
mm. And you also have a sister that's currently playing basketball as well, and you had the opportunity to play with her growing up at Dublin High School. What was it like
Mhm.
playing with her together back in high school?
Um, I will have to say it wasn't the easiest
Uh,
because of our relationship. I guess like it was easier for us to just yell at each other more and
mm,
hold each other accountable. Um, but yeah, so she's at UC Riverside now, which is
hmm
literally 10 minutes away. So
hmm
it's nice to have her close by. I'm actually with her tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, so our men's basketball team has a game, and she came out. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So you had a successful high school career and you graduated in 2018 at Dublin High School, where you were a
Mhm.
four-year letter winner. What's that? What's a four-year letter winner for those that know?
Um,
Don't know.
for those who don't know, it's just rather than junior varsity for all 4 years.
Mm.
A letter winner is just someone who earns their letter on their I forget what it's called, but their jacket, the typical like high school
Yeah,
jacket everyone
yeah.
gets. Yeah.
Where you averaged 20.9 points, 7.1 rebounds, 5.1 assists, and 4.18 steals as a senior, where you were named All Conference three times and an All State once in your career. You led Dublin to the CIF North Coast Section Championship as a freshman, as an appearance in the NCC tournament all 4 years, where you led them to a 28-4 record as a freshman and 25-6 record as a senior, where you were rated number 10 guard by NorCal prep rivals and was a scholar all 4 years, scoring a total of 1,515 points, a total of 551 rebounds, 366 assists, 462 steals, and 186 blocks. How would you say your experience at high school set you up to play college ball, and what was the transition like? Because I heard that there's no shot clock in high school in the States.
Mm-mm.
So what was the
No.
transition like, especially having no shot clock and the different rules transitioning?
Um, so within high schools, with good women's basketball teams, and I think just being exposed to that at an early age, being
Yeah.
on varsity since of my first year in high school,
Mm,
kind of prepared me. But people always say that the transition from high school basketball to college basketball is very hard, and
mm,
I do agree because it was just the pace,
mm,
the intensity, just all of that go into college sports is real. It's not taken as serious as it, and it's treated like a job in college, honestly. And
mm,
I mean, I guess that is the truth because our job is to win the games that we play in,
mm,
and then eventually, or like we all hope to get to the NCAA tournament, get
mhm.
ranked, and play the best teams, and hope to be the best
Yeah,
at the very end of the season. So yeah, the transition was hard, but I think everyone experiences it as a freshman, and I think it's important.
that's good. So you actually, for those that actually don't know, you actually originally started with Minnesota. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. I was committed. I committed actually in November of 2017, right before I
Mm,
graduated, and
mhm,
then there was a coaching change,
mhm,
and I wasn't too sure about it, so I ended up decommitting and taking two additional visits. One of those being Colorado, and the other being and I ended up liking Colorado more,
mhm.
so that's where I ended up.
And as a freshman for Colorado, you played 28 games in your first season, earning 13 starts. You scored a season high 14 points and led the team in assists three times, heading out a season high with six. You played a season high 35 minutes and finished the season with 3 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 1.3 assists. Did you had to face any challenges in your first year at college? Do you have any challenges or
Sorry,
obstacles you
you
had to
broke
face?
up a little bit. Any challenges? What?
Oh, any challenges and obstacles you had to face transitioning from,
Yeah, for
from
sure. So coming in as a freshman, there's obviously upperclassmen that are just more experienced than you, and that was something that I had to deal with. Like coming in as a freshman, I didn't really
Mm,
understand that, but obviously you do know that you have to work your way up into the starting spot.
mm,
And my freshman year, one of the starting guards got hurt, which is why I
mm,
started starting, and I started conference when they're already in conference play. So against all these
mm,
Pac-12 teams, and it was such a struggle for me because before that I hadn't really been playing a lot. So I really just had to like step up my role and just
mhm,
do what I had to do. But because I was a freshman, I didn't really navigate through that the right way, or as like thinking back on it now, I don't think I handled it as I should have. And just
mm,
trying to prepare for that, I just thought like the skill that I had already was enough, and it for sure wasn't going against all these Power Five schools.
mm.
But I would definitely say that I had some challenges, but there's nothing that I wouldn't change.
Yeah. Did you had to go through any sort of injury throughout your time at Colorado that led you not playing a lot of period of time?
No serious
No.
injuries. Really just ankle sprains, typical.
Yeah, typical
I
basketball
don't.
injuries.
Yeah. Nothing major though.
And what made you come back home to play for the California Baptist Lancers?
So I really was just taking my education
Mm,
uh into consideration. And I also did not know what I wanted to do
mm,
once I graduated college.
mhm.
I don't want the ball to stop bouncing just yet.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking my fifth year, and I chose here because of a bunch of different factors, but
Mhm.
it's nice to be close to my sister, like I
Yeah.
said earlier. The master's program here is very specific to what I want to do where in the future. And this is being at Cal Baptist, I know that this was a winning program, and I wanted to be a part of that, and I wanted to continue that as well. And so they were actually D2 before I got here. I think
Really?
like 2017 was their last year being a D2 institution.
They're
And so they're finally,
feeling you to the D1 division.
yeah, so
Mm.
they're finally eligible to be
Mm,
able to play in the NCAA tournament.
nice.
So I thought just that combination, that we would make it again. And
Mm.
so yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you're currently averaging 9.1 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and 2.6 assists for the California Baptist Lancers. Is there a particular reason why you wear number 4 as your jersey number?
Well, I was originally number one.
I saw that.
I was a bunch of different numbers.
Because your sister was
Um,
number 4 for Dublin, right? Was she?
yeah, she was. So I was number one in high school. Before that, I was like 23. But once I got to Colorado, the number one wasn't available,
Ah,
but number four was. And we have a saying in my family
mm,
that just corresponds with the number four. So I
mm,
decided to be number four. And
mm,
then I stuck with it all three Colorado. And then it was available here and I
mm,
wanted it more than the number one.
mm.
So yeah.
So what's your schedule like during the week with trainings, class, and your games? What's your like daily routine like during the week?
Um, it's different day to day, but on a typical day, we have practice in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and then I either nap, do schoolwork, or well, not or I of course get something to eat in between, but usually nap or do schoolwork, and then I have classes at night because all the um, grad student courses here
Oh,
are
yeah.
taken at night.
Mm,
So really, I just try to time my day out as best as I can,
mm-hmm.
and try to get as much homework done as I can because sometimes my classes don't end until like 10 o'clock at
Really?
night.
That late?
Yeah, so I have no energy to do homework and I have to be up early for practice. So I just try to do stuff in the middle of the day to get enough sleep
Mm-hmm.
for that night, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So how often do you guys train per week? What's your schedule like per week
Oh,
with
it's six
training?
days a week.
6 days.
Usually if we, yeah,
Mm,
usually if there's a game, we have 5 days of practice. The
mm,
sixth day will be a game, and then the day after will be or an off day.
yeah,
And usually, if there's not enough space in between games, we don't even have an off day
that's great.
after one game, and then
Mm,
we um, start scout on the other team, and then after that next game, we'll have our off day.
all right. So study-wise, you graduated this year with a degree in psychology at the University of Colorado, Boulder, and
Yes,
now you're currently doing a master's. Is that right?
yes, yeah.
And how long is your master's over there in California Baptist?
This program, so my program is forensic psychology, and it's a 2 year
Mm,
program.
yeah.
So another year, but I'm not too sure. Sorry. Um, I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do after this year. I
Mm,
plan on being a grad assistant once I'm done with my eligibility
mhm,
playing, but I don't know if I want to be a grad assistant right away or
mhm.
play overseas and then continue school later.
So you got a lot of options. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's good. So when you're
Yeah.
not on the court and studying, how do you enjoy your free time? How do you spend it?
Um, I would like to watch a bunch of Netflix shows.
Mm,
True crime documentaries
yeah.
are my go-to. But really when my free time is just like relaxing in
Mm,
bed, watching TV at home,
yeah,
just like trying to get as much me time as possible.
that's the one.
Yeah.
So how does Cecilia live her life? Like, what's your values? You're like a big family person. How do they
Mhm.
impact you as an athlete? How does your family impact you as an athlete?
Um, I would say that my family just motivates me to
Hmm.
continue playing every day. Some days I just want to give up and be like, why am I still playing basketball? Like, why am I still
Mm,
dedicating 3 hours a day just to
mm,
practice something that I'm already good at? But there's always room for improvement. And then I just think about them
mm,
because at the end of the day, that's who I'm playing for.
hmm,
Playing for my sister who's across
hmm,
town. Just trying to be a good example for her and also for my younger sister who always watches me. So it's just another, like I said, just another motivation for me when I don't feel like playing.
That's the one. And how do you approach each basketball game before the game starts? Like, what's in your mind before the game starts?
Typically I just try and go over the scout.
Mm-hmm.
So the just go over what the other team does.
You guys do a lot of film, like film?
Yeah. So we
Right.
watch film, not too much. But there's that we can have on our phones,
Yeah.
and it's just clips that we are seeing that we are showed in the film sessions, and we just have access to them. So I just try and, like I said, watch what the team does as a group and then what each individual player does, because we don't know who we're going to guard until like 5 minutes before the game. So I just try to like remember in my mind who does what and like make sure that I lock in on defense and like do what I need to do to.
So how do you handle the pressure of having to play in front of a crowd? I know you're probably used to it now, but how do you handle the pressure, especially playing in front of a big crowd?
Um, I do get nervous sometimes. Like I'll feel the little butterflies in my stomach like
Yeah.
5 minutes before a game, but when like once I get my mind set, um, I'm locked in. I'm focused.
Yeah.
Like the crowd really doesn't bother me. I
Oh,
don't hear
really?
anything that people say usually. It's hard because sometimes I don't even hear what my coach says. So
That's
it's like difficult for me to like process that, like and like pick who I need to listen to.
mhm.
But it really doesn't affect me. I probably as a freshman, I would say it affected me.
Oh, really?
But being a woman in the sports world, we
Mm.
also don't get too many fans, which is
Mm.
unfortunate.
Mm.
But I hope that there will be a change.
Mhm. So how do you go through hate and criticism? If so, how do you handle it?
I honestly have never been through any type of
Really?
hate. I mean, there's always like negative comments, but I don't really pay attention to it
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, I know all the work that I've put in to be in the position that I'm at, and the other person is just a person behind a screen typing how
Hmm.
they feel. Sometimes like it does hurt because like
Yeah.
I know that I put in the work and that
Hmm.
and people don't see that, but
Hmm.
it's also motivation, just to
Hmm.
prove them wrong, I guess.
That's the one. And so how do you motivate yourself, especially after losing a game or just a poor performance?
I try to get in the gym more.
Yeah.
Um, I try not to dwell on the past, but
Mm.
it's kind of hard to do that, especially like if it's about basketball. But I just try to improve my game, just try to like get up shots more. Like if I didn't have a good shooting game,
Mm.
that's when I'll get more shots up. If I didn't have the best game when it comes to turnovers, I'll try to like do better next time with my decision. So it's more about my thought process rather than
Mm.
like actually doing anything. Because if I think too much about the negative stuff, I feel like more negative stuff will
Yeah.
happen, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah, it does. So recently you represented Tonga in the recent Polynesian
Yeah.
Cup in Kaitai in New Zealand. You averaged 26.8 points, 7.3 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and your name in the All-Star 5. You had the opportunity to represent Tonga for the first time. What was the experience like, and how did they reach out to you?
So first they've reached out to me a while back.
Mm.
I don't know how long Khan was in contact with me for, but I'd say at least a year.
Mm.
And then over the summer they had contacted me about the 5-on-5
Mm.
and then just potentially playing in New Zealand for Tonga. But I would say that the experience was amazing. It
Mhm.
was something that I'd never experienced before. And it's something that I would definitely do again. Uh, as soon as I left New Zealand, I was like, I don't really want to leave, but
Mm.
I know I have to because I have obligations here.
Yeah.
But almost every day, like some of the girls are like liking my stories on Instagram
Yeah.
or just sliding up and sending a DM.
Mm-hmm.
So we still stay in contact,
That's good.
but I do miss them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say the experience was one of a kind for sure.
Yeah, that's good. So what sort of being a captain for the first time for Tonga, what sort of leadership qualities did you feel was important to bring to a new team?
Um, it was difficult, I would have to say, just because like not everyone had these same and being the captain, being someone with that experience, you wanted to like get on them and tell them what they were doing wrong and show them how to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I had to take it slow
Mm-hmm.
because they're not at the same experience
Mm-hmm.
level as I am. So like it was kind of frustrating with not with them, but more myself because I didn't
Yeah.
know how to go about the situations that were present during that time. But I definitely wish that I spoke up more because I feel like I was one of the last players to get there because
Really?
yeah, I got there like October 29th maybe, and I just felt like I hadn't built it to say something, but I know that they respected me enough
That's good.
for me to like say those types of things, but still I just wasn't comfortable. But once it was like towards the end of the tournament, I was comfortable.
That's good.
Yeah.
Would you say there's a difference between the game of international basketball and college? Is there a difference that you found out after the experience?
Yeah, there's some stuff that's different. I think I accidentally called a timeout and I
Oh
didn't know
yeah,
I
because on FIBA, it has to be a dead ball.
Oh,
It has to
okay,
be a
yeah.
dead ball. Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the first
And I was
game?
just so confused. Yeah. I forgot when, but I called a timeout and everyone was looking at me crazy. And I was
Mm,
like, I can't call a timeout. So
mm,
it was funny. Um, but I don't think it's more so of a difference between FIBA and American basketball. I think it
mm.
was just
The pace
with
was the pace quite
the
different.
pace. That was my first time playing with
Mm.
FIBA too. But I think it was just because of the teams that were there, just
Oh, yeah.
um Polynesians don't typically play basketball. So I
Mm,
think that was also places like New Zealand and
mm,
Australia
mm,
have like very experienced and well-known teams.
mm-hmm,
So I think that was just the difference that I saw.
mm.
But not not really not too many differences.
Right. So what do you think your proudest moment or achievement so far in your basketball career and why
Um,
so far?
well, in high, I remember a few specific moments. One in high school where we won NCS
Mm,
North Coast Section
mm,
against Carondelet, who was like pretty like really good. That was one of my best memories, and that was me as a freshman.
mm,
My next memory would probably be my senior night at Colorado.
oh yeah.
Uh, I would say my whole senior year, but that's not a moment. Just going from where we were when I was a freshman in college,
Mm,
we went like 2-19 in
mm,
conference. We were not good. And then working our way through those struggles,
mm,
those obstacles,
mm,
and getting to where we were as my senior year came about, we made
mm,
it to the NCAA tournament. So I think
mm,
that was like just the best feeling, just knowing
mhm,
that we put in the work, as a team and as individuals to get to
mhm.
where we were.
That's good.
But yeah, I would say my senior night because we beat Oregon for the
Mm,
first time and we beat Oregon State. That wasn't for the first, I don't think that was for the first
mm,
time, but it was just, we won both games because the way Pac-12 works, you would play Thursday or
mm,
Friday and Sunday. So we played Oregon on Friday and we beat them. And then our senior night was Oregon State and we beat them.
mhm,
And it was just a really good feeling, to win on your senior night. And then the next would probably be playing at the Poly Cup for
oh yeah.
sure, just because,
Yeah.
it was everyone's first experience for,
Mm-hmm.
every Tongan there. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, every woman.
Woman. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was just a great experience within itself. And then just being a captain on top of that, just you know, it was just great. That's all I have to say.
Who would you say is the toughest hooper you've had to guard so far? Toughest hooper,
Oh
international
God.
stage and college, college stage, and why?
Uh,
Do you have anyone in mind that they're like?
yeah, the first one that pops up is Sabrina Ionescu, if you've heard of her.
Where's she? Who is she from? What?
She's
How
from
did she?
California, so I played
Oh,
against her in high school, I played against her in college. She was at Oregon. Now she's in the WNBA.
oh.
Yeah, she plays for the New York Liberty. She was on the USA team this year. She was very good. But there was a bunch. Like my freshman year, there were so many people that are in the WNBA currently
Mm-hmm.
that were playing Pac-12 back when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of them was Jordan Canada. Another WNBA player is, I'm forgetting her name, Michaela Onyenwere.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a
A lot of.
bunch of talent in the
Mm-hmm.
Pac-12. So it was it's hard to name one, but Sabrina Ionescu definitely.
And what is one important key lesson you've learned so far as a college athlete, whether it's on the court or whether it's with your studies? Like, what's one key important or a few key lessons you've learned so far as a college
One
athlete?
that I always mention, one that I always mention, is just time management.
Mm-hmm.
Being a student athlete, it is hard to manage your time because you're so busy with your school,
Mm-hmm.
and on top of that, you have your athletics. So
Mm-hmm.
just knowing how to manage your time wisely and like effectively, that will help. That will go a long way. And then more so on the basketball side, just
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're getting better
Mm-hmm.
in any way you can, whether it's offensively or defensively. Just try and get to the best that you can. Just try and be as best as you can be to the best of your ability, because at the end of the day, offense doesn't even matter. As like some coaches just want you to play defense and they'll keep you in because you're playing defense well,
Yeah,
you know?
hustling.
So
Mm-hmm.
just do the best you can in any aspect of the game and be yourself, because you are where you are for a reason.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have any piece of advice for young girls that want to take the same path to go to college? What piece of advice would you give to young female ballers that might be tuning in today?
I would say work on your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Weaknesses are taken advantage of in scout. People will say she can't guard, so attack her.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely say work on your weaknesses.
To wrap it up, what advice would you give 5-year-old Lesila? Looking back on her life, what advice would you give her?
That's a tough question.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. Love those around you every day, for sure.
Thank you so much, Sila, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure being able to interview today. Make sure you check her socials down below. I'll check her Instagram down below. I wish you all the best with your basketball career, and hopefully see you again at the next Poly Cup in the next couple of years.
Thank you.
Mama, tell me how you doing. See a lot of stress on your shoulders.